this morning, sunshine through the clouds, feeling the healing, laughter all around. Rise up and stand tall, joy in every stride. No more tears to fall, let your spirit guide. Blessed go summer, shining through the night. Brighter than thunder, you're the morning light. Life keeps on spinning, hold on to your dreams. You're always winning, more than it seems. Hear the drums calling, dancing to the dawn. Keep on believing, strength in every song. Blessed go summer, shining through the night. Brighter than thunder, you're the morning light. Life keeps on spinning, hold on to your dreams. You're always winning, more than it seems. Hear the drums calling, dancing to the dawn. Keep on believing, strength in every song.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Blessed Girl Summer Podcast. If this is your first time joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are a BGSS girl, hey, a Blessed Girl Summer sister, so glad to have you back. This is the podcast where we learn to live, love, and cultivate a life of peace and joy. And so this season, this is our season 3. I encourage you to go back and check out season 1 and season 2. But this season that we're keeping it personal. I don't have any guests as of yet. There may be some people that I may pull in to have some personal conversations with me, but I wanted to keep it personal. I wanted to talk about like my growth journey, the things that I've learned, and hopefully allow that to be something that you can build upon and you can use in your life or use to encourage somebody else, right? As they're going through things. So today I want to talk a little bit about I want to talk about a couple of things. I want to talk about setting boundaries, but I also want to, before I get there, I want to talk about um, this aspect of my growth journey where I've come to learn some things about myself. I already knew that I'm very analytical. Like I'm an analytical thinker. I'm a deep thinker. Um, and I feel like this has being, and so for those of you who are new, I am in school to obtain my therapist license. I'm halfway through my program. And a lot of that is analyzing, right? Analyzing behavior, analyzing dynamics. The license that I'm going for is systemic in nature. So I'm also looking to see how things interconnect, how relationships interconnect um, with whatever the symptom is that you are experiencing. So that symptom could be depression, that symptom could be um, a fear of something, that symptom could be anxiety. Like whatever that symptom is, not only am I looking to help you not have that or to lessen that experience, but I'm also interested in how other relational dynamics are playing into you experiencing this. And so it could be a friendship, it could be a familiar relationship, it could be um, maybe an organization that you're a part of, it could be the society, it could be the environment, it could be socioeconomic, it could be religious. How are these different relationships or things, cultural things, impacting what you're experiencing? And if is it right? And so to say all that, I just wanted to share that because that's analyzing, right? And so I was already to my point like a deep thinker and analyzer. Now I feel like it's 10x. Like it is just like it is like unlocked something in me, and I'm always thinking. I was already always thinking, but now I'm like really always thinking. Now I'm not just thinking like how I normally was thinking or like on a deep level. Now I feel like now I have more information. Like I have more research. I have more um, evidence based information that supports certain outcomes, right? And so it's almost like I joke with myself. I'm like, you got some analyzing behavior superpowers that are growing over here. But, you know, it can be a lot. It can be a lot. And sometimes it can have my head spinning. And when I first started school, it was a I was really struggling to like turn it off, to like not be analyzing everything. Um, I still struggle. It's not as bad. Um, because before it was bad, I was like, how in the world am I going to like, I freaking like stop thinking, stop thinking, stop seeing, stop observing, stop like, um, but now it has, um, it has simmered down a bit, but it's still very present because like that's what I am setting myself up to do every day, all the time that I'm working, right? That and so, you know, and being that it was also a part of my personality, like it was I was already like that. This has just like catapulted it. Which is good. Like I enjoy it. That's another thing. So it's like I enjoy it, but at the same time, I'm like, it can be a bit much. Like you gotta balance it. That's the word. I gotta find a balance. I'm getting to that balance space, but I feel like it's about to 10x again because I'm going into internships and so I'm going to be sitting with clients. As opposed to prior to that, it was just like a lot of education, information, scenarios, case studies, right? Now it's going to be live people, live things. And so, yeah, I am learning how to navigate in that space. And what I wanted to share, the personal part, I mean, in addition to that, is that I've also, I think what has helped me really strive for the balance is because you have to be careful, like with any type of knowledge, right? With any type of knowledge or information, especially knowledge or information that is about others, is about other people, is about other things, other people in particular, you got to be careful that you don't start acting like or thinking that you know all the things. And it can be easy. It can be easy to do that. But what I appreciate about this industry and what I appreciate about therapy in general is it is from a position of exploration. The therapist, you know, my modality space is going to be collaborative. And so it is not about me knowing. I may know some evidence based information, but I don't know you, right? Like I don't know all those things. Remember those things I was mentioning that has probably impacted whatever you're experiencing right now. I don't know all of those. And so there is very much a learning that happens from the therapist seat, right? There is a learning and there is a wanting to understand and wanting to know you, and not assuming that just because this was this way with Johnny, this is going to be this way with Julie, right? And so that is, I think, where I'm starting to get the balance, right? And so it's like one way you want to exercise the information, the knowledge that you're receiving, the tools, the intervention, stuff like that. But on the other end, you have to come from a very humbled place because you don't know. The only person that really knows is Johnny and Julie. Like they're the only people that know. I'm being invited into this space to participate with you in this. And so I personally had to continue to challenge myself to remind myself of that, especially being someone who like had a tendency towards perfectionism and had a tendency towards like this is right, this is wrong, like being very black and white. Thank God, like in my late 20s, I began to explore the gray areas and not just stay black and white about things. So, but my natural inclination is to be like right, wrong, black, white, right? So that is a muscle that I have been working for like 20 years, right? And so, like, even now, that is a muscle that I now have to activate in new ways. Not necessarily with my clients that I'm going to see, but more so in my relationships, like my my things, right? Because you know, the client therapist relationship is different, but like when you are just you're not playing that role, but your brain is still thinking and you're seeing things. You're seeing like family, you're seeing friends, you're seeing, coworkers, you're seeing even watching shows and stuff on TV. I'll be like, there was a point I was like, my brain won't stop thinking about people and their behaviors, right? So um this should have been on my therapist chronicles. But so anyway, I think that I have been challenged with um I have been challenged with humbling myself outside of the therapy room. Well, both in both places, because I think you need to be humble in both places. Humbling myself to remind myself that you don't know, and everyone's story is not the same, and everyone's situation is not going to follow the same guideline or rule book. It's not going to check off all the boxes. It's just not. And I love that about this industry. I love that that is such a focal point to be able, because you want to move with objectivity, as much objectivity as you can, and not be biased. And so the goal is to continue to always be searching yourself to make sure that you're not demonstrating any biases or any pre-assumed assumptions, right? Um, and that's a mental work all on its own, all by itself, right? To be intentional about that, because in our everyday living we could just be as biased as we want to be, child. We could just think whatever we want, but in this space, it's a requirement that you exercise that muscle, that you are constantly working on that muscle, and there are systems in place to help you, systems like supervision, to help make sure that you are being as objective as you can, that you're not letting your implicit or explicit biases enter into this space. And so I'm back to the spaces outside the session room, which is what we're talking about today. Um, so that has been something that I have been growing at and working on. Another thing that I've been working on is setting boundaries as a result of not just that, but as a result of like greater self awareness, understanding what it is that I need versus what I don't need, understanding how to communicate it, um, understanding how to be aware of that for other people. And so I've had to set boundaries. And one of the things I wanted to talk about with the boundaries is when I first started setting boundaries, it was kind of like, well, okay, when I first started realizing, oh, I need some more time, or I need some more space, or I want to stop moving out of obligation. I was very much a person that felt obligated to do certain things. And when people asked me, I felt like I had to do them. Like that was my role and I had to do those things. And even to the point where even if you hadn't asked me, but I felt like you were going to ask me, or I felt like I was obligated to do it, I was doing it. And so that falls back into like that fixer space where I'm trying to like fix everything, but also very much tied to the fact that I felt obligated to do that, to fix it. And so as I began to work through that piece and understanding, like, first of all, that it can enable people um, to not do some things that maybe they need to do. And then I had the question, like, well, what is that fulfilling in me? Why am I doing that? Right. So as I began to explore those things, there were things that I had to shift, things that I had to change, things that I had to be like, you don't need to do this. And you definitely don't need to be doing it if you're just moving from a place of obligation, not because you want to, not because, not because you want to, not because you desire to, just because you feel obligated to it. Or even maybe like there's some things that are our responsibility. And so, not just because it's my responsibility, it's more so because I feel obligated to do it. And so, as I begin to start setting boundaries, I'm like, I'm not doing this just because I feel obligated. I'm not obligated to do this. And what I begin to realize is that my my feeling of obligation to it became other people's expectation of it. So I had to make an adjustment of what I felt obligated to do so that they can shift their level of expectation for me to do it. But when I first started setting those boundaries, it was kind of like, they not gonna make me do X, Y, Z. I'm not gonna be out here feeling obligated to do such and such. It was very much on the like defense when not every like they may have honestly got that expectation because of my behavior, right? Because of the way I was showing up. It may be something honest, right? Or it may not be. Maybe they trying to manipulate it to make me do the thing, maybe. But at the end of the day, that shouldn't be what motivates me to set the boundary. And I was just thinking about that because there was a boundary I had to set the other day. And when I went to set the boundary, I was like, hmm, this don't have nothing to do with me trying to show them something. This has everything to do with me, honoring my time, honoring my space, honoring what I need. And then there were times where I also felt like I should because I could, right? And no, you don't it's not you should because you could, but do you want? You don't should have to do nothing, right? And so I had to change my thinking around, first of all, why I was doing it, what my what my yes was saying no to for me, and make that my reason for making the decision. What is my answer going to say to me? Not so much what is my answer going to say to them. What is my answer going to say or do for me? And so, yeah, so I had to make a decision. I was asked to do something, asked if I could do something. And honestly, I probably could have done it. Not probably, I could have done it. I could have done it because I had the time, but I had made that time. I had made that time by doing the other things so that I would have that time, right? So now the time is available because I've done other things to make that time available. And so it wasn't a matter of could I do it on that time? I could do it on that time. But me doing it at that time would be taking away from what I initially carved that time out for myself. Would I be dishonoring myself by giving you that time for whatever it is that you want to do? That was very hard. Like that has taken me, I've probably been working on this for like 2 years. I've probably been working on that for 2 years because then I think I would feel guilty about the fact that I could and I didn't. And then it's not like I'm replacing it with something significant. it may not be significant. It just might be what I wanted to do, right? And so it's a way for me to say yes to me. Um, but then you worry about what it looks like to the person you said no to. Um, but I'm glad, and I can't wait to share with my therapist that I have come to a place where I am ready to honor me more than I am concerned about their feelings about me honoring me. And so it just gave me a whole new look on boundaries, right? Because I know for me, like I know you got to set the boundaries. You teach people how to treat you, but even that's like for me, I think I was taking it from a like I'm about to teach you, all right? Like I'm about to teach you, not like what I'm doing for me, right? I'm teaching you, but really my boundaries are for me. They're for me. They're not for you. Um, they're for me. They're to protect something for me. And so I was a little proud when I was able to make that distinction about why I was making the decision to do what I was making a decision to do. So I think that that is going to make it easier. So when I do say yes, that I feel good about the yes. I'm saying the yes because I want to say the yes, because I want to, because I don't mind using that time for whatever it is that you need. But I used to say yes even when I minded using that, even when I minded, even when I needed, even when I did not want to. So it feels good to be able to say yes because I want to say yes, as opposed to saying yes because I feel obligated to. And it just changes. And I think the other piece to that, that I'll share really quickly, the other piece of that is that it's healthier for the relationship because when you're going around here saying yes, they're like, cool, thank you, blah, 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 blah. But you're like, I ain't want to say, you're feeling some type of resentment or frustration or anger or maybe even an obligation that they now have to you because you have said this yes to them. As opposed to when I say the yes because I actually want to say the yes, it's cool. I don't have no there's no strings that I'm holding on to you. There's no expectations that I'm holding on to you. Because when I don't want to do it and I feel like I'm not gonna do it, you know what I mean? So it's not gonna feel like you're taking something from me. And I think the other way it felt like people were taking things, even though I was actually giving it, but it still felt like a take, especially if it was not reciprocated down the line. And so now I feel like if I do it because I want to, if it's not reciprocated, it doesn't feel like a take. And that at least puts me in a place where I can, where we can come back from it, right? It's not building up a wall, it's not establishing like a little pebble, right? I think a long time ago I talked about how each offense builds it can build little pebbles, and before you know it you have this wall and you're like, well, what happened? It wasn't like one thing that happened, it was a lot of little things that created pebbles, that this pebble has all of a sudden turned into this big wall. And so those are ways that pebbles were formed in my relationships that they now don't have to be formed. I mean, there may still be a boulder, like somebody may do something, and then we're gonna have to deal with that big old boulder. But we're not gonna have these little pebbles and then wake up and then be like, I'm feeling some complete kind of way about you, and I don't even know how I got here, so I can't even explain it to you. Now I feel like I've gone on a tangent, so I will stick to what I've been talking about. But yeah, so all a part of learning how to be the new you, learning how to be the evolved you, learning how to be the you that continues to cultivate your joy and secure your peace. And these are some of the stepping stones and some of the things that are required to create those spaces for you, to create peace in your heart, right? To cultivate joy. So now you're enjoying it, whether it's doing what I initially wanted to do, I enjoy it, or doing what you've asked me to do, I'm doing it because I enjoy it. So now I'm still cultivating joy. in the spaces that I'm in. And I think that I'm a little proud of myself. Got to give myself some hands, some emoji hands or whatever, that I'm able to get here, because that is that's a different space. It's a different space. And so it took me a minute, but hopefully it won't take you as long as it took me. Um, I just don't think I ever saw it that way. But yeah. So until next time, make sure that if you have learned something from this podcast and you want to share it with a friend, or a family member, whoever, colleague, that you go ahead and share it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Be sure to leave a comment if you're watching this on YouTube. You can also leave a comment on Spotify. Y'all can hit me up on Instagram. It's at Tisha_talks. I probably just realized I don't have my Instagram. I will add that to the show notes from now on. You can reach out to me there. I'd love to hear from you. I have recently got on TikTok, y'all, but that's not really. I don't really. I'm just dipping in the pond. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, but and I also don't know by the time this airs if it's still going to be accessible. But regardless, it's Blessed Girl Summer. I think it's Blessed Girl Summer podcast or Blessed Girl Summer on TikTok. So, all right, y'all. Have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you later.
Woke up this morning, sunshine through the clouds, feeling the healing, laughter all around. Rise up and stand tall, joy in every stride. No more tears to fall, let your spirit guide. Blessed go summer, shining through the night. Brighter than thunder, you're the morning light. Life keeps on spinning, hold on to your dreams. You're always winning, more than it seems. Hear the drums calling, dancing to the dawn. Keep on believing, strength in every song. Blessed go summer, shining through the night. Brighter than thunder, you're the morning light. Life keeps on spinning, hold on to your dreams. You're always winning, more than it seems. Hear the drums calling, dancing to the dawn. Keep on believing, strength in every song. Blessed go summer, shining through the night. Brighter than thunder, you're the morning light. Life keeps on spinning, hold on to your dreams. You're always winning, more than it seems.